So good evening, all of you. Welcome to Healthcare Insights. A warm welcome to all the participants from across the globe and India for the fifth edition of Healthcare Insights, powered by RedMed and All Ladies League and hosted by LBN Tech Solutions. I am Meghalai Senthilkumar from All Ladies League and LBN, and I am the host for your evening. Thanks to Jay Srinivasan and Sandhya Rao of RedMed, Healthcare Insights has had several experts from the industry sharing their insights with us. And RedMed is connected, a little bit about RedMed. RedMed is a connected health venture. The goal is to empower individuals to live healthy lives. RedMed aims to do this by enabling affordable preventive care for early detection of chronic diseases, specifically cardiovascular and diabetes. So you can check out their website to know more, which is www.redmed.in. So LBN has been hosting well-attended awareness webinars on several topics of varied interest for over a year. And the topic for today is Ayurveda and cardiovascular disease, and our expert speaker is Dr. Prasad Deshpande, Senior Regional Head, Karnataka, Madhavbag. Dr. Deshpande has worked with many interventional cardiologists during the 16 years of his professional experience. Dr. Deshpande started his career as a private practitioner before he was intrigued by the idea of combining modern diagnostic technology with the Ayurvedic treatment approach. The idea made him believe that there is a massive scope of improving the lives of people with cardiac and other chronic ailments through this unique approach. So that was when he joined Madhavbag Multidisciplinary Cardiac Care Clinic and Hospital in the year 2008. Currently, he looks over the business development and expansion in South India, where Madhavbag is already gaining roots. Dr. Deshpande is on a mission of Hriday Rog Mukta Karnataka, and he has conducted more than 1,000 events, lectures, and workshops. He has been interviewed by TV9, Ayush TV, Digvijay TV on cardiac-related issues and also about changing lifestyle habits of people. In short, his main vision is to make Karnataka a cardiac disease-free state. I'm so honored to have you here, Doctor, and welcome to the session. And moderating this session is Luvina Rangel. Luvina is a body-positive yoga teacher trainer from the Bihar School of Yoga tradition with a background in medicine and holistic health, teaching credentials in Ayurveda and meditation. She is the founder of Curvy Yogi, modeling inclusive and accessible yoga for all. Luvina is one of Bangalore's leading yoga anatomy, philosophy, and ethics educator with expertise in spinal conditions, physiological disorders, thyroid imbalances, as well as psychosomatic influence. She is the president of WICCI, the Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce, Karnataka State, for the Yoga Council, and recently received the Iconic Leader Award from the Women Economic Forum, Bangalore 2020. And she's a wonderful writer, and she does a lot of other things also. A very interesting personality, a wonderful speaker, and a great moderator too. And you can know more about her yoga studio by visiting her website, thecurvyyogi.com. And I'm so happy to have you here, Luvina.
Thank you, Meghalai. Thank you. It's a wonderful introduction.
Before I hand over the floor to you, Luvina, the moderated session will be followed by the Q&A session, where participants can type their questions onto the chat box, and the expert will be answering them after the moderated session. Okay, so here you go, Luvina. The floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Meghalai. Good evening, Dr. Deshpande. And it's lovely to have you here, where we are speaking about something that is such an important conversation, actually. All of us have heard of it. We hear of this all the time. We hear of Ayurveda, but we also hear of cardiovascular health and cardiovascular disease. And I am so impressed by all the work that you've done and that you've been doing. And over the past weeks, knowing of the work of you, your team, it's been a brilliant read. And now I'm so glad to be moderating the session so you can actually get to share with all of us on more of what this is all about. But, you know, we'll talk about cardiovascular, right? So we're talking about cardiovascular health and cardiovascular disease. But before we go into the meat of it, I'd like you to first maybe just tell us what exactly is it? What is cardiovascular disease for the layperson? How do we understand it? And how does it actually impact us also? You know, I mean, is it really worth spending this much time for us to take the effort to understand what it is?
True. First of all, before explaining the things, I would like to thank you all, beautiful people, because as Meghalai, as just she has told that we are on mission that to make Hriday Rog Mukt Bharat or Hriday Rog Mukt Karnataka, or each and every state we have to make it Hriday Rog Mukt, cardiac disease free India is the major mission. And I would like to thank all of you, all of the team from LBN, it's RedMed, everyone. Because you people have just taken an initiation and taking this thought ahead, and probably giving me platform to have interaction and spread this thought to the people, so that we can make it more effectively in the society. So thank you very much for inviting me for this webinar. And now comes to the question that, see, basically cardiovascular disease, it's one of the moment we take this name itself, it started creating, there is a fear. So the word, the moment heart disease is equal to fear, how we can make an equation of that. So whenever we come across with these kind of diseases, so there are understanding the disease is more important, but usually happens exactly opposite to this. So rather understanding, or rather thinking or giving a thought on the why it happened and what is the proper way of treatment. So people suddenly they just get frightened, and they approach, and that fear creates a lot of havoc or a panicity in the thing. So for that we need to understand the speed or the impact of the disease, how it is spreading out. Because I think last 100 years, if you consider, within that 100 years there are a lot of things are changing, and in that cardiovascular disease, the ratio is day by day it is increasing. And I think in the year of 2015, if I'm not wrong, so WHO has declared that India will become the highest number of patients in 2020, and we have just crossed 2020. We are entered in 2021. So this is how the huge impact of the disease is there. It's not only understanding the heart disease, precisely we are talking about heart disease, but moreover, whenever we are discussing about heart disease, we cannot neglect the risk factors of the heart disease. So usually there are a lot of risk factors, or more important risk factors are like diabetes, you can say blood pressure, increased blood pressure, hypertension we call it as. Usually neglected point is obesity, and you can say we call it as atherosclerosis, but in a common word we can say blockages. There are some habits which are usually followed by many people, like tobacco or nicotine consumption. There are some alcohol consumption, all these type of diseases, and sedentary lifestyle and food habits. So these are the major risk factors we need to consider whenever we speak about heart disease.
Dr. Deshpande, just a minute. I just have a few comments here. Can we just have a sound check? I think some of them are asking you to speak a little louder or a little closer.
Now it is audible. Now
is this better?
Yeah, I think it's better, Lovina. We can hear.
Okay, fine.
Is it okay? Can you just type for the rest of you onto the chat box? He's quite audible to me.
Yeah, it was to me as well, but I received messages. Okay, fine. Okay, so I'm sorry for the interruption, Dr. Deshpande.
No problem.
You know, it is so interesting when we speak about both fear as well as, you know, how about all these different things that are all so interrelated. We're talking about diabetes, we're talking about health and lifestyle that you're saying. But what actually caught me as interesting was when you said that for hundreds of years, this has been going on and so many advances have been made. And yet we are still stuck here. And yet we are still talking about cardiovascular health and cardiovascular disease. But then now we're talking about Ayurveda, right? I'm very curious, because that is the point of the conversation today. How does Ayurveda come into the picture? And how does it actually relate to cardiovascular health, is it reliable? Is a question that we usually hear. Is it scientific? You know?
Yeah. You can clearly ask this because no doubt in that. First of all, let me state a clear statement here. Yes, it is reliable in terms of cardiovascular disease. Because just I would like to tell all the audience as well as everyone here when you say a heart disease, so usually heart disease has been majorly divided into major two things, which really we consider it as a fatal. Okay, there is an ischemic heart disease we call, and there is a chronic heart failure we call. Okay, so in chronic heart failure, the muscles of the heart, myocardium, is usually get hampered and it's unable to pump the blood. So that is how patient enter into the failure. And in ischemic heart disease, usually the blood supply to the heart get reduced or it completely stopped. That is how that ischemia or infarction state comes, and that is how it becomes fatal. So life fatalities. So that is the major things when we understand. Now, for chronic heart failure, the current medicine which has been given to the chronic heart failure patients, or from the day one, from the last around 50, 60, 70 years, the cardiologist or all the experts are giving the drug is digoxin. Okay, so the digoxin, the what exactly digoxin has is nothing but the medicine called Vrutpatri. This is the origin from Ayurveda. Okay, so to make it more convenient, I would like to say there are a lot of evidences we have. The effective medicine, the Reserpine is considered. It is the nothing but it is the Sarpagandha, where it has been used in hypertensive treatment. So in this way, whenever we are explaining these diseases and its treatment modality, so definitely the origin we consider it is from Ayurveda itself. And all I want to say is we all know that Ayurveda is 5,000 years old science. Here I am underlining the word science because I would like to tell you that the difference between science and the art is absolutely different, because whenever we are talking about the art is been unique, or it is been unique for individual, but when I am telling it as a science, then it has to be replicated, it has to be protocolized, it has to be systemized. So that is we call it as a science. So in this way, probably Madhav Bag has made this Ayurveda in a completely systematic way, protocolized way, and present it in front of the world. And today we are successfully treating the chronic heart failure patients, diabetic patients, and you can say hypertensive, obesity, blockages patient. It is literally we are successfully treating, and more than 10 lakh patients we have treated. So this itself, we can say it is a reliable science.
You know, when you speak about the reliable science, the moment we say these two words, we come across things like, okay, show me the research, show me parameters, show me all of these. And we spoke about this when we had connected earlier as well, about how we actually connect. And this very phrase, you know, about modern medicine, how it opposes Ayurveda as well. And how does it actually, how do you connect these two when it comes to the treatment, when it comes to parameters versus facing that, for lack of a better word, resistance?
Okay, a nice question, because many a times in the society there is a perception is there in this way. But I would like to tell, in terms of Madhav Bag or in terms of myself individually, whenever we consider our enemy, we can say our enemy is heart disease, not any pathy. Okay, so as I said in the previous answer, we believe in science, and whenever we believe in science, science is an inclusive matter. Okay, and if I would like to explain you that whenever Madhava come across with the thought, it is always been inclusive. In a better way, that we have from the day one, we call ourselves as a multidisciplinary approach treatment methodology, where we are inclusive of all the modern technology, all the modern medicine investigation methodologies, and there are some high technology things we have included. And then the whole our ancient treatment lineup, which is there in Ayurveda for the Hridroga, that is heart disease, we have given. So whenever you say uh, there is somebody is opposing or somebody is against it, it is absolutely not like that. In terms of Ayurveda, as we all know that we are ready to accept each and every knowledge point from the across the globe. So wherever, whichever it is happening for the benefit of the patient, we are ready to accept it. So irrespective of the some pathy, we have to think beyond that, and we need to think for the betterment of the patients of the heart disease, and probably more globally, if you are thinking, we need to think about a betterment of the mankind.
Very true, Dr. Deshpande. This brought to mind usually when we think, we usually go for something that is very symptomatic in allopathic treatments, right? Something that is fix it now versus Ayurveda, which is usually a lifestyle case. And when we also have how disease manifests, how it manifests, how soon we can actually address it, and how lifestyle actually can make a difference, right? So how does this entire treatment then work around? How do we actually incorporate Ayurveda so that people, not just with testimonials, but how do they actually bring in Ayurveda towards cardiovascular health?
To be very honest, if we there are two ways, as Prayojana of Ayurveda has been explained in Vagbhata Samhita, and in that thing he has explained that we need to prevent the disease first, and then even though if we get diseased, then we have to think about the cure. So to prevent the disease, there are a lot of things has been explained in Ayurveda. So you can say there is a dinacharya has been explained in Ayurveda. So from the Brahmi Muhurta Uttishte, that is how shloka starts. From 4:30 morning, Prathama Prahara he has told. So from there to Ratri Charya, till the night, what you have to do, what all things you have to conduct in a day. So each and every point has been explained in Ayurveda, and if you follow this, then automatically you can prevent the all these kind of diseases. And probably that was the thing, how people were not getting these all diseases at that time also. And nowadays we all are literally forgotten our culture, you can say, our some festivals, or all these things are scientific based, and accordingly these are defined. And every point and every you can say there is a dinacharya, you can say, or there is rutucharya, you can say. Each and seasonal factors has been explained in Ayurveda. Rutucharya, every rutu, what things has to be followed and what has to be avoided, this has been explained. And this is not for the deceased person, this is for the healthy person to keep his health in a better way, keep being healthy. So that is how the prevention aspect has been explained in Ayurveda. So if you consider this, this is a wonderfully defined. So now going one step ahead, cure part, as I said, there is a lot of literature available in Ayurveda to treat heart disease, to treat diabetes, to treat blood pressure, to treat all these difficult disorders, which are considered nowadays are very difficult to treat, or lifelong medication is required. But let me tell you one thing, in Madhav Bagh, we have treated more than 10 lakh patients, and today they all are living happily without medication, and they are following the proper lifestyle. We are making them independent to with the help of their good lifestyle and taking it ahead. So that is what we have to think, and we have to change the social aspect looking at the disease. So we need to consider this as a disease. We have to fight against it, not just to keep inside and we should not carry that disease. We should not depend on disease. We should not take our life with that. So usually it is the mindset. Usually in Kannada, everyone, whenever I conduct a lectures, everyone says, "Sayu tanka guligi togobekaಗ್ತದ್ರಿ." That is how they say. So this mindset is absolutely we need to change, and for that probably the awareness is required. And people like you, if creating the platform like this, then this is the right way to create that awareness, so that we have to follow the good lifestyle will definitely keep away from the diseases. And if you are diseased, then there is a way to complete reverse all these diseases. It may be heart disease, it may be diabetes, hypertension, or it may be obesity, blockage, anything. So that is how we can approach the Ayurveda.
Thank you, Deshpande, Dr. Deshpande. There is one thing that actually came up for me, when you were saying all of this, actually two things. One is something that I saw as a comment coming in about, how soon can we very confidently approach Ayurveda, because there is this general thing of how soon, like you said, right? Most of when we talk about Dinacharya and Ritucharya or even Ratricharya, those are all the tools that are available for us. How many of us follow them? How many of us know of them? So my question, actually, I've got two. One is, can you give some of the tips of what we can actually do to prevent? Because that's the first mode of prevention. And then more importantly, address this about at what stage of cardiovascular disease, right? Not for the health, but when it's disease, at what stage can people confidently approach an Ayurvedic physician for it?
Surely. First of all, you have asked me what is the preventive measures we have to keep away all these diseases. See, three stambhas has explained in Ayurveda, that is, if you maintain your ahara, vihara, and vichara. So these three things, if we maintain in our life, things will be absolutely all right. So when we're talking about ahara, so what has to be taken and at what time, how it has to be consumed, these all points we have to consider, and accordingly we have to take it ahead. More than that, in vihara, there is vihara is nothing but our physical state and how we keep it active. Okay, so it includes majorly an exercise regime as well as our sleep regime. So these two are important. And in vichara, so that is how the stressful life we are carrying today. So all these three things, if we are able to manage, and if we able to keep it in a controlled way, definitely we can prevent the diseases. Now, this is something you can say it's a general terminology which everyone knows. So now, being an expert, if I want to comment on this, in ahara, all the audience, if I want to tell, in ahara, if you reduce your carbohydrates today, nowadays, there are a lot of carbohydrate intake is seen in maximum, almost in a single meal, more than 60% of the food is carbs, more of a carbs. So if you reduce your carbohydrate, that will be always beneficial to avoid the disorders, all these kind of disorders. One. Second thing, if you reduce the maximum bakery products, probably the bakery merchants or the all people may against this, but I can't help it for that. So, but still, the bakery items are creating a huge problem in the current scenario. And more than that, there are few things which are literally, if the people are diseased, then if the diabetic patients, if we all know that they have to avoid some sweet items, and hypertensive patient can avoid or limited, make them limits to with salts. So that is how we can limit ourselves. So there are majorly two things I told, and probably people are more interested to understand about the oil or the ghee or these things. So to be very honest, I would like to comment. I would like to comment on the more than a quality, that is a quantity is more important. Today, in a huge quantity, oil is being used. So if a single person per day 10 ml or 10 to 15 ml oil per person per day. If you calculate this and in your home you start using this will reduce a lot of difficulties and disorders in the family. Okay, for example, you can say usually whenever I ask people or the people who are attending my lectures, so how much oil you can get from the market every month? So usually a minimum amount is around 4 to 5 liters. Okay, and how many people are there in your family? Two, three, or max four people are there. Now, if you calculate this, four members, 15 ml of oil, every day 60 ml is required, into around 30 days, you are consuming around 60 ml. If you're consuming 100 ml also, for 30 ml, 3,000 ml is required. So more than that we are consuming today. Almost 1,800 to 2,000 is required for a four members in a month. So we are almost consuming 2 times more than that. So that is what the concern today. So that is important. And after that we can think about which oil, which kind of oil, double filter irbeka athwa is purified irbeka. So that is how we need to consider. But more than that, the quantity is more important, I would like to say. So this is all about ahara. Okay.
Just one, isn't ghee better though? I mean, isn't ghee, of course, if we know the cow, that's what one of my teachers used to tell me. If you know your cow, then you take that ghee. But 15 ml of ghee also is a good addition compared to oil, or is there a difference?
In other than that, if it is again a source, it is again a source of fat. So that if you are consuming that 1 spoon of ghee, a cow ghee, okay, is okay for in individual to keep his health, okay, in a good condition. So that is required. How we as an Ayurvedic person, I can definitely advise this. Okay, so now there are some I cannot give it generalized statement. So there are some conditions where we have to avoid or we have to minimize the quantity of the ghee, or the way of consuming that ghee is different, or probably we may add few medication powders in that ghee and then we advise them to take it. So that is how the ahara point is taken care. If you go for a vihara, then I want to tell everyone here, every day exercise is must. I don't know if I ask the audience here, how many of you are going for exercise every day? So I don't know how many of people will raise their hands. But if you're not doing from today onwards, I request you all that please go ahead and do everyday exercise. Okay, so now what it is and which form exercise has to be done. So very precisely, and a general statement if I want to give is, morning empty stomach, if you walk 2 kilometers, 2 to 3 kilometers in 30 to 35 minutes is a basic requirement of the daily exercise. If you do it, that will always keep your healthy state, okay, your body healthy. So one step ahead in the sleep regime, we need to understand that every day we have to sleep in a proper time. The time is very important because our whole body is regulated as a systematic machine. Okay, if we make a habit, so keep that habit continuously, do it, and then only we can keep our body so healthy. So now, if you are sleeping at 10:30 and getting up in the morning around 5:36, that is always better to keep your body healthy. Now, there are a lot of people are having a habit. Nowadays, it has been seen last around 5 to 6 years. I have so many patients complaining for of insomnia, unable to sleep, because the moment I ask them at what time you leave your mobile, but the moment I ask this, everybody before going to sleep, they are surfing, they are going through the Facebook, a lot of things are going through on mobile, and it may go on for hours together. So that is the main reason. Probably at 10:30 I'm going to sleep. I request everyone at 10 o'clock all mobile work has to be finished. Half hours, 30 minutes, we have to give rest to our eyes and then go to sleep. That is always better, which will keep your eyes healthy, which will keep your brain healthy. Thought process is always in a pure manner, and you will get a sound sleep. So this is all about vihara. Okay, so when we go for the vichara, so that is how, I don't know how many of people are, as there are a lot of yogic people are there on this platform. So dhyana is always considered as one of the topmost daily regime, which will keep you healthy. Okay, so what exactly dhyana means, if I have understood in my way, so keep 10 minutes, close your eyes and sit relaxedly without doing anything. So that is what we have to start, at least from the beginners. There are a lot of expert conditions we can achieve in dhyana. Till samadhi there is a huge systematic program is there in yoga. But for a layman, for a common man, to spending 10 minutes on his own and keeping himself calm for 10 minutes, and it is been programmed. Program yourself for that 10 minutes and do it. So it is, make yourself compulsion. So make it mandatory and get it done. So if these three steps we follow, irrespective or you are a diseased or you are a healthy person, irrespective of that, if we follow this, things will change drastically. And if the disease, there are a lot of diseased people come to me, there are 100% blockage patients, there are all three vessels are blocked, the people come to me. But whenever we start treatment, yes, the people who are suffering from the disease, they need a reversal method, they have to get treated, then they have to parallelly, they have to follow this regime, then the things will get better very fast. But whenever the people who are really healthy and they want to be healthy, then it's simple way, we have to follow these three steps of ahara, vihara and vichara. This, I think this will prevent the disease. And why I am telling this all, because today there is a lot of patients, as I said, more than 10 lakh patients we have treated in last 15 years. But many of the people ask me that, doctor, if you are giving all the preventive measures to the society, then how you are going to treat the people? How, what about your clinic and all these things? But to be very honest, more than 30%, people are already affected, or they are in that impact of this heart disease or all the other risk factors in India. So you just imagine, more than 25 to 30 crores people in India are suffering from all these diseases. So treating all these people is become a big task. So if Madhavbag has to decide treating all these people, we require 1,000 years. Okay, so for that reason, I always tell everyone, whenever patient comes to me also, I want to tell you that, I want to tell that patient is, आज आप मेरे पास आए हो एज अ पेशेंट, मैं आपको पूरी तरीके से ठीक करके दूंगा. फिर से जब हम मिलेंगे तब पेशेंट बन के मेरे पास नहीं आना है, फ्रेंड बन के आओ, मित्र बन के आओ, हम मिलेंगे, पर पेशेंट बन के मुझको वापस मिलने नहीं आना है आपको. So this is what we have to create in our society, and that is what the thing we have to put in front of the people.
I think that's such a beautiful thing to say. It actually, personally, it's a very passionate plea as well. And knowing how Ayurveda works, the essence of it has always been to teach our people and to empower them with health, isn't it? So prevention has always been one of the core fundamentals of Ayurveda, on teaching our people how to take care of themselves, in order to avoid the treatment, which is also available for those who miss the initial boat, for that matter. So my question here then, is one, we'll continue with that as to how early, when can actually people come in to seek, sorry about that, cardiovascular assistance. I'll come to the next question later, but maybe we can address that first.
Wonderful. So, whenever in terms of cure, we are talking about and how fast they can come to the thing. As I said, there are some lakshanas, or there are some symptoms. Usually, we can see in heart disease. So the people, irrespective of they have undergone some diagnosis or not, some investigations or not, but if you start getting breathless after walking or after running for some distance, more than 100 meters, 200 meters, or if you are unable to climb around 2 stairs, okay, around 20 steps staircase, so that is the indicator I would like to tell, there your heart is getting weakened. So this is, you can say, first grade, or this is the first indicator of your heart is getting weakened, or it is entering in a failure mode. Or few people, they may get pain in the chest, they get heaviness in the chest. These type of symptoms, if they find at that time the right time to approach for the treatment or approach for the diagnosis of the disease. The moment we diagnose in Madhavbag, we diagnose these diseases with the help of stress test. So our heart has to checked when it is actually under stress. Okay, so at that time, how much effectively my heart is pumping, at that time, how much effectively my blood vessels are supplying the blood to the heart. And after doing all these things, if your parameters are normal, then we can say your heart is in a good condition. And if we find some deformity in the supplying the blood to the heart, or pumping capacity, or a pumping action, or a minimal pumping capacity of your heart, so in that condition, that patient needs a proper treatment of heart failure or a ischemia. In Madhavbag, so there is a treatment called heart failure reversal therapy. So there is a reversal therapy, or you can say ischemic reversal program. So the word reversal is very important here. So we have to reverse the disease and make that person as he was in his previous life. So that is what we have to do it. And to show you something, probably whenever I tell this point, the next thing comes, that first question of reliability. How should we rely on this science or this treatment method? So Madhavbag has, from the day one, we believe in approach of a research, evidence-based practice. We have started collecting all the database. We have put in front of the world. There are lot of journals where we have presented our research papers, and very fortunate and very proud to tell you that we are the first Ayurvedic organization which has presented their paper, their research paper, in Lancet. Lancet is one of the, you can say, it's the Bible of medical industry. So in that journal, Madhavbag's research paper is published. They accepted it and they published. So this is the reliability, and this is how the effectivity of the treatment, and now we are doing it successfully. Then there are a lot of research papers and the different platforms. Then it may be a British Journal of Cardiology, then it may be Indian Journal of Indian Heart Journal. There are a lot of things are there, and there are different level of research papers which we have published and made people to understand the effect of Ayurveda. Because there are a lot of cardiologists today, they are approaching for all these diseases. And today we literally are very happy to explain the Ayurveda to the cardiologists. So that is how the effectivity of the treatment. So if you allow me, can I show you some research papers here?
Oh, yes, yes. I was actually going to ask you about that, if you can actually show some of the research. And you also said that maybe we could share a link later with the audience and they could follow it whenever, right? Okay.
Surely.
But
Just
yes,
give me a.
please. Mhm.
So this is, as I said, this is how we approach the people, and this is the evidence-based cardiologic practice in Madhobag we are doing. Tell you that these are the three major things why we are behind. So today there are a lot of people are raising the query that Ayurved बहुत धीरे काम करता है. आयुर्वेद पे ऊपर मतलब जब जिस तरह से ट्रीटमेंट देते हैं उसके साइड इफेक्ट्स होते हैं क्या? There are a lot of question marks are there in the people's mind. But why modern medicine took a step ahead? Because these are the three things which importantly there are lack of measurable parameters in Ayurvedic concept. But today Madhovag or advanced Ayurveda is making a knock that at a huge level of measuring parameters we have put in front of the world, and today we are going at a different level. Same way, lack of availability. So there are today a lot of practitioners, other pathy practitioners are there in everywhere. They are very easy to reach. But Ayurvedic practitioner was a bit difficult. You need to find it. We need to find them. But today the time has changed. Now there are a lot of Ayurvedic graduates are coming and they are really passionate to practice Ayurveda. That is more important thing. And third and very important point, which today I want to show you, that the scientific evidences. So we have to put some scientific evidences in front of the society or the world. Then and then only science is being accepted. So there are some herbal interventions, as there are a lot of these are the hypertension management medications. So all these herbs you can see, these are considered as anti-hypertensive medicines, and you can see Brahmi, Shunti, Vacha, Bibhitaki, all these medications are considered as an anti-hypertensive, and all these are being researched. These all the effect of medicine is been researched by Madhovag, and today their paper has been presented. So you can say in diabetes there are all Daru Haridra, Amalaki, Haridra, Gudumar, Banaba. So there are all the medications. There are few medications, nominal things I have put here in the presentation. All these medications are researched, and today they are literally giving a great effect. So going ahead, as there are a lot of people are asking about the blockages, there is a huge impact in the blockage has been seen with the help of Ayurvedic treatment. So you can see there is a plaque initial first, this is the before of plaque. Plaque means a blockage was there, and after that it is completely cured. So that is how we can say how effectively there is impact of Ayurvedic medication. And I was just I was talking about the research paper Lancet. This is the research paper which has been presented in the Lancet, and Sampurna Hridaya Shuddhikarana method of treatment, which has been improved the quality of life as well as a pumping capacity. We call it as exercise tolerance capacity of the heart. So this has been increased in this research paper, and it has been accepted by the Lancet. So in this way, there are a lot of research paper you can see. This is the again one more research paper is there. So effect of Sampurna Hridaya Shuddhikarana in heart failure patient, and this paper has been published. So this paper has been published, and after that there is one more research paper. These are the improvement. Usually you can see here, there is, give me a minute. There is 39% was the ejection fraction. It was before, and after treatment, only 2 months treatment we have given in this study, and it is a 45% ejection fraction. Means pumping capacity is increased within 2 months. So that is what the effect of Ayurveda, that is what the speed of healing process there in Ayurveda. So if you, there are a lot of research paper I can show here. So this is once again, this is, as I said, Indian Heart Journal. You can say it is India's topmost journal of cardiology, where we have presented our paper and they have accepted, and it has been literally rewarded presentation of this paper, research paper, where we have awarded, because this is the only Ayurvedic research paper has been published in Indian Heart Journal. So this is how I can say that the huge research and database has to be presented, and today we have done it, and that is what we are getting a great results today. So as I said, people believe with the two things. One is experience, second one is research, or what evidence, experience and evidence. These two are the important criteria where you gain the trust, and on these two bases we are definitely doing it.
Very nice. I mean, very, very impressive, Dr. Deshpande. Because of this, what you've just said in terms of research, I want to remind you of that very first conversation which we had, and where you said we have to dispel myths. Myths. Both of us had a good laugh at that. And what are some of the myths, Dr. Deshpande? We need to bust them.
Yes. I think there are majorly 2-3 things which usually is been considered in terms of Ayurveda. First of all, ये बहुत धीरे काम करता है. That is how people address it. Okay, so as I said, now I would like to, if I don't know if I am, it is available. So recently we have done a CT angiography report. Usually CT angiography report has been done with blockage patients who are having more than 50%, 80%, 90%, 100% blockages they are. So where we are treating them and reversing the disease. Now, as we have to धीरे या फास्ट इसको अगर डिफाइन करना है तो we need to compare the two treatment modalities for this. Okay. So nowadays for the blockage, we all know that there is a treatment angioplasty, a surgical intervention is there, and there is one more is bypass surgery. One more intervention is there. So bypass surgery and angioplasty, after doing this, to improve, to get the good improvement, it will take around 6 months. And even though I would like to tell here, whenever I do angioplasty or a bypass, I am not going to remove the plaque inside the artery. Okay, so whenever the plasty has been done, I am inserting a catheter and just I am pushing that blockage to the wall of the artery. That is what is the work of the stent. Okay, and in bypass, we all know that just irrespective of, we just keep that artery in the same manner, and just we bypass that artery by using a vein of our thigh, and just we put a bypass route for the blood to flow. It means plaque or a blockage remains there itself. Means in the both the interventions, blockage is there itself. We are not removed the blockage, but most important thing is to remove the blockage, we are having a treatment. Now Ayurveda is effectively working on this, and fortunately we are very lucky that today more than 100 patients we have treated, and you will be surprised that within 60 days on angiography, on CT angiography, where we are measuring the blockage in terms of cubic millimeters. We are measuring the blockages in cubic millimeters, and all 100 patients we have done CT angiography before the treatment, CT angiography after the treatment, and where approximate 60% of blockages has been reduced within 2 months. Okay, now you can say who is fast. Okay, so Ayurveda is working tremendously great in cardiovascular disease. We are treating diabetic patients, rather reversing the diabetic patients within 3 months. Within 3 months, without medication, without allopathic medication, we are treating the disease, we are reversing the disease, getting the parameters absolutely on normal without medication within 3 months. So this is the effect of Ayurveda. This is the effect of, or this is the strength of Ayurveda, you can say, where we are, only thing is the, as you said, this is a myth has been spread out, and that is somehow, even being the faculties, we also been taught in the same manner at initial phases. But now time has come to change this perspective of the society and make this science as the first line therapy. Then and then only are ancient. So I don't know why it is called ancient or why it is called modern. So it is one of the ancient modern science which has to be propagated across the world. So this is the first myth we have to take it ahead. And second, there are a lot of side effects hote hai. There are some things which we need to consider, usko dena hai nahi dena hai. So basically side effect, it itself, each and every, even you are drink a glass of water, it has some effect and it has some side effect. For that, to be very honest, if you go with a right dosage for the patient, there is no side effects of Ayurvedic medications. But irrespective of whichever the medication we are following, it may be Ayurvedic, allopathy, homeopathy, whatever it is, but dosage and the disease status both are important. इसलिए मेडिसिन बुरा नहीं होता है, डायग्नोसिस गलत अगर हो तो मेडिसिन गलत दिया जाता है, इसलिए वो तकलीफ देता है, रिजल्ट नहीं मिलता है. सो प्रॉब्लम इज विथ द डायग्नोसिस, प्रॉब्लम इज विथ, probably I can say sometimes, a doctor but not the medicine. Science kabhi bhi galat nahi hota. Only thing how we apply that may create a problem. So that is what we can say here. So there is no side effects whenever we go with a correct methodology of Ayurveda. And third thing, whenever it is old, there is no much improvisation has been done in Ayurveda, and all these myths are there. Then I definitely I would like to tell these are the myths, because I have shown you some research papers, I have shown you some advancement in Ayurveda and results in Ayurveda, so that definitely we can say this is a myth. So there are a lot of things we have to change, and a lot of good things we have to put in the social society, that Ayurveda is nothing but a life, how we have to deal with, how we have to follow the life. That is nothing but a Ayurveda, the Veda, the science, the information which tells about Ayu, how you have to live. That is Ayurveda. And this is, if you start following, irrespective of diseased or healthy, you will always prevent your disease, or if you are diseased, you will reverse your disease. So that is how we have to consider it.
Dr. Deshpande, I want to come back on the medication bit. We said the medicine galat nahi hota, medicine bura nahi hota. But we usually hear also, right? There are so many articles in media, and media being media, but we have about the composition, how it is made, how it is formulated. And there have been articles about certain medications or Ayurvedic formulations that have heavy metals in them, or any of these. So can you tell us a little bit about that and how that is addressed?
Surely. Great. Thank you for putting this particular question, because there are a lot of, I have literally gone through it, and the many people ask me this. So usually in Ayurvedic treatment methodology, there are two ways of treatment. One is Kashtaushadhi, herbal medications, and one is Rasaushadhis. So there is a metal based medications. Now, to be very clear, both are effective, both are very important in treating the disorders. Now, where we are using a metal, it is in Ayurveda, the Shodhana Prakriya has been explained. That is called purification methods. Okay, and if it is properly purified, you will never get a side effect. Okay, but so always we always go with some percentage of error, right? So considering this point in Madhavbag, whatever I have shown the presentation, whatever I have shown the research papers and the treatment methodologies we have used is completely Kashtaushadhi, herbal medicine based till date. In Madhavbag, we are using a herbal medicines. So in this medicine based, there is absolutely no side effects. To be very clear, whenever I and even though the people who are talking about a metal involvement in it, it may create a problem in kidney and all these things. Uh, Today, more than 70 to 80% all the medication are being manufactured in a good way, because in Ayurveda, whenever the medicine preparation plant, even how the plant has to be prepared and all, and how the medicine has to be purified, how the medicine has to be manufactured, matra se leke overall the procedure, everything has been explained in Ayurveda. And I don't want to take any company's name, but maximum the known companies are following this, because I have personally visited many of the manufacturing units, so they are following this. But again, I would like to tell you here, in metal there are 1-2% error we can consider, and for that, whenever doctor prescribes this, we need to discuss and then we can go ahead. But when, if you are asking me, till date last 16 years, we are successfully treating the heart disease patients, diabetic patients, hypertension patients, blockage patients with Kashtaushadhi is the herbal medication, and we are successful. So right now we are absolutely not thinking जब एक बाण से अगर काम हो रहा है तो दो बाण निकालने की जरूरत नहीं है. So that is how I always tell my doctors also. Many of my students or many of my doctors, they ask, why don't you use Rasaushadhis? When I am getting the results from Kashtaushadhi, so why should I use the Rasaushadhis? So that is the a simple explanation from my end. So these are the things which we can consider, and we have to always take care of that. Other than that, I don't find any type of side effects. And now if you want to compare, if you compare with the chemical based medicines of allopathy, you can say, so if you compare, there is a huge database I can provide you in terms of side effects. So I think better not to comment on the things, but making clarity about the herbal medications or the rasaushadhis, we always be very clear about the medicine manufacturing and medicine dosage.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Deshpande. It's been such an enlightening conversation, honestly. And I know we already spoke about how lifestyle changes are important and how that seems to be the crux of managing cardiovascular health. But I know you have something for us in terms of someone who we can listen to, or a testimonial. You said that you were more than happy to share with us, because at the end of the day, we can discuss it, we can talk about it, but I think when we hear from people who have actually overcome this with you, that would be something worth listening to.
Surely. But just I want to ask you, how many of the audience are, the video is in Kannada, so is that okay?
Oh.
Is that okay?
Um,
How long is the video for?
How long is the video, Dr.
It is around
Deshpande?
2 minutes. It is
2
around 2 minutes we
minutes?
can show. It is 2 minutes
I'm
we
not
can show
sure
because
if
it is.
many
No,
of the
doesn't
audience
matter.
will.
I think, Doctor, we can go ahead. Probably you can give the gist in English also. There are lots
Yes.
of Kannada speaking people here,
Yeah,
but once the
that,
video is
that,
over,
that,
you can give the gist in English.
Okay.
okay, okay, that's great. Something. You can see this?
Yeah, we can see, Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಬಾಳೆಕುಂದ್ರಿ ಬೆಳಗಾಂದಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಬಾಳೆಕುಂದ್ರಿ ಬೆಳಗಾಂದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೇನೆ. ನನಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು 1 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದೆ ನನ್ನ ಎಡಗೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪೇನ್ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ನನಗೆ ಅದು ನಂಗೆ ಗುರುತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ನನಗೇನು ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು ದಿನದ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನನಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಸ್ವಸ್ಥ ಆದ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಆದಾಗ ನಾನು ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಆದೆ. ಡಾಕ್ಟ್ರವರು ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ಇ ಸಿ ಜಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಪೇನ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ನನಗೆ ಎಂಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಫಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಲಾಕೇಜ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು 90%. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ನನಗೆ ರೆಕಮೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು ಅವರು. ಆದರೆ ನಾನು ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ನಿರ್ಣಯ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದೆ. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಸುಮಾರು 1 ವಾರದ ನಂತರ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗಾಂನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂಥ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ರೋಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಮಾಧವ್ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಹೋದೆ. ಅವರು ನನಗೆ ಸವಿಸ್ತರವಾಗಿ ಇದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ನೀಡಿದರು. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಅವರು ಸುಮಾರು 2 ತಿಂಗಳು 3 ತಿಂಗಳು ನನಗೆ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು. ಆ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸುಧಾರಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕಂಡು ಬಂದವು. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ಅವರು ಟ್ರೆಡ್ಮಿಲ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ತಗೋತಾರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂಚೆಗಿಂತನೂ ನಾನು ನಾರ್ಮಲಾಗಿ 3 ತಿಂಗಳ ನಂತರ ನನ್ನ ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ 15 ನಿಮಿಷ ನಾನು ಟ್ರೆಡ್ಮಿಲ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಸುಧಾರಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕಂಡು ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ಅದಾದ ನಂತರ ನನಗೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರುವಾತಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ
So just I would like to explain what he has just told. As the patient is around 44-45 years old, Mr. Girish Balekundargi, and he had a severe chest pain, and he has went to the hospital. The hospital people admitted him. ECG has been done, and then they have done his angiography. In angiography, he's been told that 90% block is there, but immediately stunt has to be put. But somehow he took a call that give me some time, and then he got a discharge. He came to us, and their first point where Madhavbag bit stands differently, because we believe in educating the patient first, because we want to tell what has happened to you and what best you can do to get rid of this disease. So that is what he explained, that doctor has explained the disease and how he can come out of this problem. So then he started the treatment in Madhavbag, and he told that there is a Panchakarma treatment, diet treatment, exercise treatment, and there are some medications, so Ayurvedic medications. So this is how for 3 months he took the treatment for 15 minutes on the stress test. So that improvement he has seen, and now he said was a bit a small smile on his face, that now he can say, right now I am absolutely happy and doing my daily work regularly. So this is what the actual thing we have to put in front of the society people. where they need to understand the disease. They need to, without getting frightened for the disease, they just ready to fight against. It's not a fright, it's a fight. So we have to fight against the disease and get rid of the disease and make ourselves disease free. So that is how there are more than 10,000 patients in this year we have treated. I would like to tell you that in the COVID situation, we have reversed 836 diabetic patients in the COVID conditions. So this is something change we have to put in the people's life, where they can live their life happily with a very nice smile on the faces.
Very nice, Dr. Deshpande. That was, that was a conversation that was very enlightening, very inspiring, and for me personally, very, very interesting. I think, our time together for this conversation is almost up, but I just want to thank you for what you do for the community, for Ayurveda, not just as, a wisdom tradition of our heritage for our people, for making a difference in our lives. And thank you very much for your time with me also, for me to get to know you and your work better. And I know we've got a lot of questions that are lined up, but I will like to hand this over back to Meghalai for the next round of Q&A, because there are a lot of questions that people are asking. Yes, Dr. Deshpande.
Before conclude this, I would like to say, I would like to request all the audience of this, and I want to request them. As I said initially, we are on the mission to make our Karnataka or our India disease free, heart disease free, and for that, we are running a mission called Arogyam Hrudaya Sampada. So that is the mission we are behind that, and under this we are educating a lot of people in a different way. It may be lectures, webinars, workshops in this way, and more than that, we are screening the people in all together at a different level, and then we are reversing. So that is how I would like to say, each and everyone, I request you all, keep your heart healthy, keep your family's heart healthy, and keep your society's heart healthy, so that we can make this Karnataka as a disease-free Karnataka. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Namaste, Dr. Deshpande. Meghalai, over to you.
Yes, thanks, Doctor. I think it is just not Karnataka. We can include a whole of India, because lots of people across India are watching, and even outside India they are watching. So
Bharat, aisa karenge.
Bharat, that's right. I'll go over the questions one by one, because we have very little time and lots of questions here. The first question by Mr. Venkatapati: at what stage of cardiovascular problem? That has been already answered, and your testimonial stands proof. So we'll go to the next. There is a person, Dilip. He is taking a statin 10 mg tablet for 10 years. Is there a possibility to stop medication by taking Ayurveda treatment? That's the question he has.
Yes, Dilip, 100% you can stop the medication, but only thing right now, as I said, don't stop immediately. You need to consult a doctor, and then you have to stop. So if you want any suggestions in coming days, definitely you can communicate in these terms. But in terms of statins, yes, surely you can stop.
Okay, thank you, doctor. The next question, I think Venkatapati again, he says Ayurveda for prevention before health problem and allopathy after having the problem. Is it correct? I think you've already answered it, saying that it has to have ahara, vihara, vicharya. I think that question is already answered. Lakshmi Ravishankar, can we reverse a heart disease? Yes, you've already spoken at length, right? You want to add something to that?
Yeah, definitely. There are three things, as I said, it has been already answered, but surely we reverse the heart disease. It may be then blockage, it may be cardiac failure, or it may be ischemia. Whatever the things, only thing is structural deformities are there, which we need to consult, and then we can commit. But irrespective of that, definitely we can reverse it.
Okay. Mr. Venkatesan Iyer says he suffers from breathlessness and he has been checked for heart conditions and found all right. So please advise as to what next he has to do.
Sorry, I'm unable to hear the question.
Breathlessness. He has breathlessness, but his heart is found to be fine. So, is there anything he needs to do? He's asking.
Yeah, absolutely great, absolutely great. If your heart is normal, only I want to know that how you come to know your heart is normal. If it is just a resting ECG, if you have undergone, then please I advise you to check your heart condition, effort tolerance, we call it as exercise tolerance, we call it as, to get your stress test done. And if your stress test comes positive, then you need to approach. You can definitely approach Ayurvedic methodology or Madhav Bhatt's methodology to reverse the heart disease.
Thank you, Doctor. Nitya Murali says Ayurvedic medicines may not suit some people. Is it possible? And some elderly people feel that it doesn't suit them as it aggravates their issues like arthritis. So, is that true, Doctor?
To be very honest, when we state this kind of sentences, so it is very individualistic, generalized. We cannot say this. So for that, there are a lot of what you call allergies. We have to check it out. Definitely, might be possible. Possibilities are there, but we have to check, and then only we have to go with this. But whenever we treat the patients or uniformly or universally, 99% of the people usually, because as last so many years and so many patients I have treated, so I never come across with some allergies or some problems. So I think there are some physical issues we need to rectify. Accordingly, we have to prescribe the medications.
Sure. Thank you, Doctor. So Sandhya Rao asks, you recommend 30 minutes exercise. How about for super senior citizens? She's talking about a person, Mrs. Lakshmi Jagannathan. She has knee pain and she feels breathless after just a few minutes of walking. So what would you advise for these super senior citizens?
I'm extremely sorry. It was a generalized statement, Sandhya ji. But definitely it was for common public, whoever absolutely not exercising, for them it is, at least you start with this. But as you asked, super elderly people, for them, even though there are some stretching exercises, they can sit in the chair and they can do it. There are some cycling movements. For this, if I would like to tell you that for these kind of things, there is an app we have launched called MIB Pulse app, and in that MIB Pulse application, all type of patients are covered, and for them diet how has to be maintained and which type of exercises they have to do. Accordingly, there are a lot of videos as published, and it is daily. There is a live videos are also there. So if you have this app with you, so definitely you can go through it, and selected exercise methods you can follow. And then it may be elderly, then it may be some knee joint pain patients, there are some back pain patients, there are some severe heart patients where we cannot tell them to go for exercises. So in different categorized patients, we have made the videos. You can go through that also.
Thank you, Doctor. There is one question about allopathy. Are there specializations and divisions in Ayurveda also, just like allopathy? So Mr. Venkatapati has asked that question.
I didn't get exactly what they want to ask.
Are there divisions in Ayurveda like allopathy also? You know, like cardiovascular specialist and ENT specialist.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to tell you one thing. There is in Charaka Samhita, you can see Ashtanga Ayurveda. So Kaya Chikitsa is the one category where medicational things has been treated, and then second is Bala Roga, Kaya, Bala, Graha, Urdhvanga. Urdhvanga is ENT specialist. Okay, so Shalya, Damshra. So there are Shalya means operation, surgical surgery category. So definitely in Charaka Samhita it has been explained.
Great, that was nice to hear. Just like Sushruta, you know, the ancient physician, and we have surgeons, we have lots of stories. And there is one question here about insurance, doctor. Do Ayurvedic treatments are they acceptable by insurance companies? and will specifically talk about as well as other places. Insurance companies accept this Ayurvedic treatment?
Right. I am also the part of a question now because last few years we are literally fighting for this. Right now, last 3 months back only, I met Mr. Tejasvi Surya, and we have requested him to put it in front of Health Ministry and the Ayush Ministry. Even we met Sri Sripad Naik sir for this to make it possible, because nowadays Ayurveda people are accepting it. Now there is some facilities has to be initiated from the government perspective also. So that is how we have literally working hard for this to put Ayurvedic treatments on the Mediclaim or whatever the insurance sectors are there, and they have to do it. But yet we are waiting. Hopefully, we may expect some positive results in coming few days.
Thank you. I think that's it. There is one question about Siddha and Ayurveda. I mean, there's a comparative. I mean, Siddha is also Indian medicine, right? How would you compare Ayurveda and Siddha?
See, you can say it is almost, there are some in Ayurveda more than 4,000 sages references there. Okay, but why that much of people have commented? Because everyone has their own method or own approach to see the disease as well as to treat it in a different way. But each and everyone has created their own impact and commented on each point or a disease. In the same way, I never rather comparing this, it is a one part of our holistic approach itself. Siddha is not a different. Basically, all these methods today we have made some different things. Yoga is different, Siddha is different, Nisarga Chikitsa is different. Everything is included in Ayurveda. To be very clear, in Swasthya Vrutta of Charaka, which has been explained, he includes everything: Samaj Shastra, social hygiene, and everything, preventive social medicine, everything he has covered in Swasthya Vrutta. Under this, yoga is one of the important point he has covered. In the same way, Siddha medications, there is a method of treating the patients, which is inclusive of this thing. Nowadays, the expertise, how I said, there are different expertise come out of this, and they started, there is a typical way of practice. So that is how one Siddha is. But I don't think there is a comparison, because independently Siddha established the method of treatment, and Ayurveda, definitely there is rooted sciences there in time.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. It's time to invite Jay Srinivasan, founder RedMed. Please come in, Jay, and we are waiting for your appreciative comments before we close the session.
Thank you, Meghalai. Dr. Deshpande, thank you very much. This session has been very enlightening. I got my...
Jay, 1 minute, have you turned on your video?
Yes, I have. It's visible to me.
Okay. I will just add you to the spotlight. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to acknowledge the very good, entertaining, as well as enlightening session that we have had today. Dr. Deshpande, thank you very much. I had two takeaways. The first takeaway came within 15 minutes of your commencing your talk. And I mnemonically labeled it as A to V. As we age, we need memory methods to put it in store. So A to V is nothing but ahara, vihara, vichara, which otherwise I would have been lost. So A to V was my first takeaway. That was a very good one. And hopefully I will personally act upon it, and might be a very good thing for the audience as well to put it in their stock of things to know about. The second take, which came much later, which I think is something as a discipline, Ayurveda will have to focus more and more attention on, and certainly Madhav Bhatt is doing that, is to garner as much scientific research as possible. I think there is only one way that we can all address the issues of reluctance and inability to accept it, and that is through demonstrated evidence. And I liked your slide on that, which said that evidence-based and the 3 points that you mentioned. I think we'll have to continue doing that and get everybody on board as much as possible to make sure that everything is done in a very evidence-based manner. I think it is going to make our task much easier. At the end of the day, Ayurveda should be seen as one among several different ways for citizens to take care of their own health. Ayurveda already has a positive thing, and that is holistic way of looking at it, as opposed to extant modern methods, which are not necessarily holistic. So that was my second takeaway. But overall, I think it was a very interesting, very inspiring session that also requires further discussions, further engagement like the one we had today. And I hope you and your experts will be available in the months to come to lend your expert minds to this, and also to engage with the counterparties and to have a frank dissemination of information, and so that nobody has wrong thinking on about various disciplines. I think that is what would be hugely contributory to this whole vision that you have of a disease-free India. So once again, on behalf of the audience, we've got a very good audience. At one point, it reached over 40, so a very good audience. They've all been very patient and have asked their questions on behalf of RedMed Health Systems, on behalf of LBN, and lastly, but not the least, on behalf of All Ladies League, which has kindly sponsored being the platform for us to showcase all this. Thank you all, and hope to see you soon in the months to come. Thank you again.
Okay.
Thanks,
You have to
Jay.
mention Lubina too.
Lavina, I'm so sorry. So Sandhya has put me on a spot, which is absolutely necessary. Lavina, thank you so much for doing an excellent job. I think the audience would have their own ways of congratulating you. But certainly it was very well done, moderated panel today. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Jay. Not just you, even I've been put on the spotlight, I see. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Lubina. I think how it will work is the moderator has to be very passionate about the subject, and I know you are. So that came out in your moderation. There are lots of comments on the chat box also. I'll share it with you and Doctor. Lots of people really like this, Doctor, and thanks for sparing your valuable time and sharing with us, and especially the testimonial too. And this recording will be uploaded in our People's Podium, LBN People's Podium YouTube channel. And I will, have the translation for that Kannada bit also, because it's a very valuable testimonial. It answers a lot of questions people had in minds. And viewers, next topic for Healthcare Insights is it is digital transformation in healthcare, opportunities and challenges, and we have Dr. Karthik Anantharaman, Cluster Head, Karnataka Roche Pharma. So March 27th, last Saturday of every month, please mark your calendars for Healthcare Insights. So this is our way of spreading awareness to the public, and today's session was like that, it dispelled a lot of myths in many people's minds, and let us continue to do this. And thanks, Doctor, once again, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Doctor.
Have a lovely evening, everybody. Thank you.